Nah, New York, we back with another one. Oh, D. This is not real. What?
Huh. It looks like it's raining black men in New York City. Fat white woman couldn't be happier. Welcome back. Beautiful and amazing human beings. My name is Zukardowski here of WeAreChange.org. And there's a lot of absolutely cringy stuff to get into today, as, of course, the news never disappoints when it comes to finding out what's really happening in this world, as, of course, Democratic politicians are coming together, as Republicans are, of course, coming more and more apart, especially about key issues like immigration, as, of course, it looks like there's going to be more conflicts, more wars, especially in the Middle East, as the one in Ukraine is already severely escalating to very grand proportions. What's going on here? What's the latest happening right now in this world? Well, we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was originally released by CrimeNet and just highlighting, the daily parcel of life in places like New York City that is an absolute freaking hellscape. I'm very happy I no longer live there. I don't know why I did in the first place. I really didn't have a choice or a say in the matter, actually. But looking back at it, comparing my time in New York City to my time right now in Miami, Florida, I'm way happier, less stressed, more protected, and less victimized by the state, whose model citizens look like this as politicians literally jump and jive and dance and celebrate their failed leadership, as recently seen by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Representative Bowman, that were dancing and rapping on stage during a rally at the Bronx recently, where this extremely privileged woman from upstate New York, which, by the way, us New Yorkers called literally anything above the Bronx, that was Canada to us. This lady's pretty much from Canada. Her politics align with the Canadians, had these fiery words to say during her speech. And related, what the hell am I seeing, news? We have a major divide now happening amongst the Republican political party, as, of course, the Democrats are coming together, the Democrats are rallying together, and it looks like Donald Trump just issued another campaign promise that makes a lot of his supporters kind of scratch their heads and be like, wait, what? Really? What are we doing here? As now his former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon is coming out and pushing back against Donald Trump and his idea of giving green cards to international students who graduate from U.S. colleges, as he argued that people should work for their own country and make their countries great again after they leave the United States. After Donald Trump, during a very recent podcast episode, came out and said this.
But what I want to do and what I will do is you graduate from a college, I think you should get automatically as part of your diploma a green card to be able to stay in this country. And that includes junior colleges too. Anybody graduates from a college, you go in there for 2 years or 4 years. If you graduate or you get a doctorate degree from a college, you should be able to stay in this country.
Folks, it makes absolutely no sense, by the way, that we send home 40,000 engineers and scientists who earn a PhD in our university every year, and we send them back home. We should be stapling a green card to each and every one of those degrees as they walk across the stage.
As someone put, Joe Biden calling for the same policies that Donald Trump is now calling for himself, just a few years after Joe Biden did it himself. As it's fair to say, there's going to be a lot of Miguels out there now with gender degrees, blue hair underneath their armpits, and new student loan forgiveness that the Democrats will, of course, excuse in just a few years from now. This, as Donald Trump also floated the idea of having a migrant fight club at the UFC because, quote, these people are tough. This as our culture is clearly in a major decline, and with lowering birth rates, IQs, fertility rates, marriages, and financial success, it's fair to say, especially with cultural icons like Star Wars now being taken over by the queerest creator that decided to make them the gayest ever, as we are now inundated with woke propaganda of lesbian space witches that are stronger than Jedis. And this right here is the face of what I would personally assess to be the decline of the U.S. Western Empire. It's not looking good, and it's going to be a bumpy ride, and of course we're going to be describing that bumpy ride and what to do and how to prepare, all on lukeunfiltered.com, as of course we have a quasi-secret, not so secret organization group. We talk to each other. You're able to call in to our live podcast show. You're able to participate in this independent media organization, especially if you become an A-list news member, as of course we have many different tiers, many different ways of signing up, and with that, a lot of amazing offers of value, including nature hikes. We just did one here in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. An incredible amount of really awesome, really wholesome, really good people came out. We had a lot of fun, and we definitely went off the beaten path and explored some really incredible, fun, stunning areas. And it was a really special moment that you guys support, finance the building, growing, and expanding of, all by signing up to lukeunfiltered.com for as little as $8 a month. If you guys want a sneak peek at the videos that we release for members, you could easily sign up on enougofcensorship.com, sign up on our free email list, and you get one free members video available to you, all just by simply signing up to our email list on, again, enougofcensorship.com. If you haven't signed up yet, I don't know what you're doing, but also if you're signed up to the email list, make sure it's not in your spam box. If it is, click not spam. It means a lot to us, as of course there has been a larger effort, especially with the algorithms, especially with a lot of underhanded tricks now by Google, that prevent our emails from actually getting to you. So a lot of the people that used to get the emails no longer are, as of course there's a full-on war when it comes to information that is being kept away from the general public. Again, sign up, tell your friends to sign up, tell your family members to sign up, because this is going to be the place to go if, of course, all fails. This, as the situation internationally is in desperate peril. It absolutely is coming to a head, especially in the Middle East, where a lot of people are panicking, buying generators, as electricity officials are warning of severe damage to the energy infrastructure center that could be happening in an event of a full-scale war that is brewing in the region right now, as a lot of the local populations are in panic, as one of the countries involved here's defense minister is going to be flying to the United States for critical talk on the larger offensive moves that they are making inside of this particular region, as of course the prime minister of this country, Benjamin Netanyahu, has just doubled down on attacks against the United States and the Biden administration, as he is accusing them of withholding vital arms shipments to them that they have asked to speed up, and the United States didn't meet the demand of this one special country that the United States is subsidizing and financing their larger military aggressions. This, as we're also getting a report of Joe Biden being outraged after the United States has overwhelmingly supported this country, and that country keeps criticizing and attacking the political leadership, as the Biden administration looks like it is supporting a full-on future conflict, especially in places like Ukraine, where the people there now are enduring widespread blackouts, as the Russian military has decided to attack their critical infrastructure. All of this as there are tit-for-tat type of retaliation attacks against each other that keep escalating to grand proportions. This says Ukraine is now reporting the worst rolling blackouts since the full-scale invasion of this conflict, as the Russians are accusing the United States of providing Ukraine a missile that attacked and took the lives of civilians inside of Crimea, as Russian officials are reporting that 5 U.S.-supplied missiles took the lives of 3 innocent individuals, including 2 children, injuring 100 more, as the Russian defense minister said that 4 of those missiles were taken down, being intercepted, but 1 detonated mid-air. This as missile fragments hit near the beach of Sevastopol. This as the United States was recently declared an enemy of Russia by Vladimir Putin's press secretary. Now, with these conflicts growing and expanding with direct U.S. involvement in them, a larger kind of question looms to how the United States will, of course, be responding to all of this, as Ron Paul, the former congressman and presidential candidate, highlights that the United States spent over $1 billion fighting the Houthis inside of Yemen, and that they lost fighting what many people have categorized a small rebel group in flip-flops. A rebel group, of course, that has a lot of extensive ties to countries like Iran and are backed by them and are supported by them. But the United States' latest adventures in Afghanistan, their failed coup in Syria, the devastation that they left in places like Libya, along with this failed campaign inside of Yemen, highlight some kind of grave concerns when it comes to the American empire, how it's getting involved, and how it's being spread very thin, especially when it comes to the overwhelming amount of money that it keeps spending on its military that keeps not getting accounted for, as, of course, there is a group of very money-hungry, of very corrupted individuals that use this system in a corrupted way for their own personal gains. As, of course, a lot of people are also making the assessment here that even though the United States spends a lot of money on the U.S. military-industrial complex, that the U.S. military-industrial complex is absolutely taking advantage of not only the American government, but the American taxpayer, and milking them in a very ineffective way, which translates into the lack of military ability. Now, you add that to the factor of the United States being more divided than ever, especially with the very tumultuous election cycle coming up in just a few months from now, as the New York Times has a very interesting article that reads, quote, "The resistance to a new Trump administration has already started," highlighting how a lot of people in Washington, D.C., and many other Democratic strongholds are kind of preparing in order to defy the political leadership that might take hold in just a few months from now in Washington, D.C., as a lot of people are expecting to, of course, resist and not listen to the federal government, as it's fair to say there's going to be at least one group in just a few months from now that is absolutely not going to be happy. What's going to translate with that dissatisfaction culturally, politically, economically? Well, it's going to be interesting to see as, of course, everything comes to a head in the next upcoming presidential debate, which we're going to be actually doing a live stream of here on this particular YouTube channel. We're going to be live an hour before. We're going to watch it. We're going to be live an hour afterwards, as Joe Biden now allegedly has secret debate rehearsals as he's practicing, of course, going after a man that the federal and other state Democratic officials have been going after in a form of legal lawfare. As former New York Governor Andrew Cuomo even came out and said that Trump and his case wouldn't go forward if he wasn't running for political office inside of the United States, making these statements, which brought up a lot of eyebrows last night on the Bill Maher show, that spurred on a lot of people saying, yeah, this actually kind of checks out, and this is the first time that Goomba Johnny over here actually made a good political point.
This case in New York, frankly, should have never been brought. And if his name was not Donald Trump, and if he wasn't running for president, I'm the former AG in New York, I'm telling you that case would have never been brought. And that's what is offensive to people. And it should be, because if there's anything left, it's belief in the justice system.
A very good point, an important one, as of course Donald Trump now also announced that he has already picked his vice president, and he will be showing them off for the first presidential debate of this political season. Who do you think it's going to be? Let me know down in the comment section below. But the writing's kind of on the wall. What we're seeing happening here, especially in the Middle East, especially in Ukraine, especially domestically in the United States, which I think the empire is becoming weaker significantly, are a lot of major problems coming to a head. Hopefully, they will be resolved peacefully. But yeah, there's not a lot of room for optimism in 2024. And if you agree with me, share this video with your friends and family members. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys signing up. Sign up to the email list. Again, it's free, and we do give you guys a lot of perks, a lot of exclusive offers just for the people who sign up on the email list. And then, of course, sign up to lookunfiltered.com. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.